Alright y'all, so welcome back to another video. So this is a pair of vintage Levi's, the 517 3430, and I've had these for probably somewhere between 4 to 5 months, and finally I think I had these listed for right around 40 or 50 bucks, and finally somebody offered 30 plus shipping. I took them because I picked these up at the bins, and they probably cost right around no more than 3 bucks. All right, so these are just a pair of Team USA Nike basketball pants, and initially I had these listed pretty high. I think I had them at 50 plus shipping, but again, no real takers at that price, and so I sent offers, crickets, and finally someone offered 20 plus shipping, and after having these for probably about 6 months, I took them. They probably cost right around 2 to 3 bucks from the bins. All right, so this is a Comfort Colors. It's a sweatshirt. It's from the Salty Dog Cafe. There's a big, huge graphic on the back, and prior to moving to Tennessee, I don't think I picked up Comfort Colors one time in the whole 8 years I was reselling in Oregon. But after just kind of hanging out at the bins all day looking stuff up, this brand sells a bunch of, or they make a bunch of t-shirts, hoodies, and a lot of times it's from like destination places, and that stuff sells depending on what the item is. But anyway, sold for 15 plus shipping. So these are 2 Lululemon tank tops with the built-in shelf bra, going to the same customer. This was just basically a bundle purchase. Sold both of these for a total of 30 bucks. And these are a really old style from Lululemon. You can always tell because the newer stuff has like the style code inside of the size dot, but these are really old. But anyway, these probably didn't even cost $2 combined from the bins. Alright, so only one customer service item to process this morning. I don't know if you guys remember me telling you about the Project Rock tank tops that I found up in Oregon. I sold a medium. That one sold a few weeks ago, and I haven't heard anything back. It looks like it was delivered, so I'm sure it probably worked out. But then I sold the XL probably like a week later, and I shipped it out, and as soon as it was delivered shortly after, the customer opened up a return and said it didn't fit. And so this will just be a pretty easy and clean return. Get it refunded, relisted, and hopefully I can sell it again shortly after. This Arc'teryx hoodie finally sold. I had this one priced pretty high. I showed you guys that I found this one down at the bins a few weeks ago. I had it initially listed at $150, and at that price there were just no real takers. I would send offers out and just crickets, and at this point I'm in the business of trying to get things moved as quickly as I possibly can. And I don't know if you remember, if you watched that video, it also had a couple of small holes on the middle back section, and so I kind of took that into consideration. And finally I just adjusted the price. I changed it down to just a flat 100 bucks plus shipping, and lo and behold, it sold shortly after that. And so this probably cost 2 bucks. All right, so this is probably one of my fastest selling items. It usually sells almost instantly every time I find it. Probably not going to have a whole lot of competition for it. It's just a Kroger jacket, so nothing crazy, and it doesn't really matter what the tag is. This brand is Fasa. I mean, I found these on like North End. I think I found maybe a Nike one, but anyway, found this one down at the Goodwill bins. Again, super fast selling item. It's so usually the jacket sells anywhere between 15 to 25 bucks plus shipping. This one sold for 15. All right, so I found a couple of hundred items in 2 trips to the Goodwill bins this week, and these were just 2 things that I seen kind of in the mess that I have out here in my garage, and I figured I would kind of point them out because I thought they were probably 2 of the better finds that I found this week. So this is a pair of the Nike Total 90 soccer cleats. These are like the higher end cleats, and usually when I find these, they usually move for a decent amount and usually pretty quick. Oftentimes when I find these, they're like really beat up. They still sell, but I was kind of surprised that these are almost in brand new condition, because usually, man, they're just running to the ground. But anyway, they're not really as heavy as the typical shoe, so they probably cost 2 bucks, and this should easily be somewhere between $100 to $150 sale. This right here kind of caught me off guard a little bit. I picked this up with the intentions of throwing it back. It's kind of heavy, and I typically don't want to purchase heavy items that's just going to sit around and maybe it sells one day, maybe it doesn't. And so I looked this one up, and I found this is a brand I've never heard of before. I think it's called Tipsy Elves. I think that, yeah, tipsy ales maybe. You sold and you kind of know what it is. But anyway, it's just a basic ski suit for women. It has the belt right here. And so initially I picked it up, figured it probably wouldn't move for much money, and if it did, it'd probably take a while. But anyway, after doing that, I seen that the comps on these are really good. The sell-through rate is pretty amazing as well. So this should be right around $100 flip, and it comes at like the perfect time, especially with winter basically here. All right, so this is Chick-fil-A polo. You may or may not have a lot of competition to pick this one up. In my experience, these are usually not really sought after. They sell really quick though. Again, usually somewhere between 15 or 10 to 15 bucks. This one sold for 10 plus shipping, and super lightweight from the bins, probably 50 cents. Here's a pair of Hey Dudes. I know it has the tag on the right shoe, but these have definitely been worn. I just left it on there, but you can tell from just the bottom shoe that they're pre-owned, so I listed them as such. Picked these up from the bins. They're really light. Probably cost $1.50, and they sold for 15 plus shipping. Alright, so here are a pair of Crocs that I picked up at the bins probably about 3 weeks ago. They look basically brand new. I didn't list them as such. I usually like to under promise, over deliver. But anyway, they sold pretty quick for 25 plus shipping. Alright, so I appreciate y'all for coming along with me. I'm going to get the item shipped out so the mailman can pick them up probably in the next hour and a half. He usually comes, I think it's like 9:30ish. He usually comes like right around like 11:30. But usually that's plenty of time for me to kind of get everything shipped and then placed outside on the porch. But this is where I'm going to cut the video off at. If you got anything out of it, like it, consider subscribing to the channel. I'll catch y'all back here on the next one. Succeed.